Oh, bear with everyone. My Facebook on my tablet's playing up. Can't get to my page. There we go. So, who's melting? Melting. What a hot day. Oh, I've moved me. Straighten that piece of paper up. Hi Ali, hi Rachel, hi Jeanette. Hope you are all well and have managed to stay relatively cool today. It's been a hot one. I did some digging this morning and nearly melted in the heat. Oh, hold on, I've got an echo of me. Bear with while I turn that down. Don't need to hear an echo of me as well, do you? One lot of randomness is enough, isn't it? So the random wheel chose purple, which Jeanette chose, and then I realised I don't have Highland Heather, so I'm going to cheat and use Gorgeous Grape on a second generation to get Highland Heather. So we have Purple Posy, Rich Raspberry. I've gone with Blackberry Bliss as well, Gorgeous Grape, and as I say, I'll do the second generation of Gorgeous Grape to get hi Kim, closer to Highland Heather, and it reminded me that I needed to order Highland Heather. I have no idea how I've managed not to get that ink colour in my collection. And I've selected some stamps from Positive Thoughts and Beauty Abounds because I thought this little flourish might be quite sweet. We have a little splodge and we have some nice little circles, and I've got some butterflies, so I thought I'd challenge myself and see what we can do. And then of course I had the wonderful thought that we have the beautiful shades of purple through the rainbow glimmer paper, so I'm hoping that's going to come into play at some point. And I have my little guide handy as to how to cut my one sheet wonder up. So let's go. Let's get my stamp cases out of the way. I'm going to open up my ink pads. Keep my fingers crossed I don't stick an elbow or a thumb or a finger into them, but you know, you never know. Actually, by the looks of my Blackberry Bliss, I might need to treat myself to a new Blackberry Bliss as well. Actually, do you know what, Jeanette? You've made me realise I don't actually use purples that often. Blackberry Bliss was a favourite at one point, so yeah, that's quite a good little challenge. As I say, you all chose differently, so I decided to use the little wheel to make the choices for me. That looks, is that alright? That's, I'm just checking that. So largest stamp first, and I'm going with my darkest colour first, which is my Blackberry Bliss. So multiple directions. Let's just throw it all on there. Oh, I think I need to. I'll add Blackberry Bliss to my requirements. Highland Heather, Blackberry Bliss. We'll start out with that one and see how we go. Then I'm going to go Gorgeous Grape with this lovely flourish. I'm thinking I haven't used it an awful lot, so I'm pretty sure I probably have never inked up this before, so hey, you can thank the wheel, Jeanette. It was your lucky day. Kind of, it kind of fell between the two of you and Kim, and then it settled on you. So challenge me with a bit of purple. I say, no idea where this is going to go. And we know that these one sheet wonders look a bit of a hot mess until we've cut them up, so we don't worry about that either. I'm going to use this flower from Positive Thoughts as well, and I think I'll do that in Rich Razzleberry, which actually is an old style pad, so maybe I'll have a bit of an ink order going on. I think that's a old style ink pad and looks like it's had its... That's a good thing, I think, with doing these things and getting other people to suggest colours, because that might become a regular... I like to do my one sheet wonders on a Wednesday, just because it all rhymes. So yeah, I think I might start putting it out there and letting you choose every week what colours I'm going to use. I'm going to use these little splodges, so I'm going to go in with Gorgeous Grape, but I'm going to second generation, which means let's find a scrap of paper. So I am going to stamp off, and then that'll give me a paler purple, which is slightly closer, hopefully, to Highland Heather. But by stamping off onto a separate sheet, that at some point will come useful. So I've reminded myself that purples are a nice colour. So these, I think these one sheet wonders do generally take us a little bit out of our comfort zone sometimes, because we don't really know where we're going with them, do we? But there is a smaller version of this as well, so I might pop some of those in one of the colours as well. Something going off there. Right, let's then... So I'm going to pop some of these butterflies in Purple Posy, which from memory is a very juicy pad, so I do need to be a little bit careful. God, I'm sitting here barely doing anything, and I'm getting a sweat on stamping. So hopefully you've all stayed cool, drunk plenty of water. That's what we often are guilty of in the heat, is not drinking enough water. I mean, bless, I think of all those poor nurses, dentists, hospital doctors, all having to wear all their PPE in this weather. Oof. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to use this little splodge, like a little splodge, which I'm going to go back in with some Blackberry Bliss. Splodge that around the place. Do a few. splodge, it's also worth switching it around every so often, just to get a different angle. Always knowing when to stop, isn't it? Although I do think I'm going to do some gorgeous grape in the first generation in this little. Kind of like little bubbles, aren't they? They're just quite cute. Let's send them in a different direction. So it's just slightly darker. Hi Jane, I hope you're well. Not too melty. Cool, I bet your sheep don't like this weather. Jane, that is. Or anybody else that's got sheep. Has anybody else got sheep? I don't have sheep. And then I've got this little baby butterfly that's also from Beauty Abounds, which I think will go in rich raspberry. What, you or your sheep? You definitely need an umbrella in this weather. And a long cold drink. Sort of a Pim's kind of day really, isn't it, I think? As long as you're drinking plenty of water. Oh, I'm quite glad I introduced those butterflies. I think it's quite sweet. What might I do? See now, Jane, we've all got visions of you under the hedge and your sheep under your umbrella. Let's all paint that picture. What else does... Hi Jenny! I'm going to do the quiz after my live. I hadn't seen that post for some reason, so... Well, I'm kind of in that... It's a bit of a hot mess moment at the moment. Just wondering whether I need to do... Might do some splodges in a different colourway. Let's clean off that and dry off. I've got a chamois that's a little bit too wet. Oh, it did only just go up. I thought, how did I miss that? So exciting, playing. Guess what's in the new catalogue? So as demonstrators we get to see the mini catalogues early. So tonight is the night. Oh, you were going to say what quiz? yeah, tonight's the night where we can think about Christmas a little bit. Have cooling thoughts of snow and ice. Yeah, there'll be Halloween in there and all sorts of other things, no doubt. Exciting. Now I'm at that moment now. Do I probably need to stop? I feel like I need a little bit more Blackberry Bliss in something. Something that's smaller. Actually, should we do some little... No, maybe we'll do the little bubbles. Should we try a few little bubbles in... Blackberry Bliss, just in a few. Oh, I've forgotten how much I love Blackberry Bliss. Keep looking at the screen because that it's quite funny looking at it here against the screen is slightly different, which is quite interesting. So let's just blob a few more of those and then I think it's stop time. Quite interested to see how those flourishes come out as well. So that's not, I swear to God that's the first time I've inked that up today, so and I've had that a while, so that's naughty, isn't it? Although I have done a little list of all my stamp sets, so I'm going to try and get them all covered in a live at some point. That'll keep me going for a little while. Although we have a conference call tomorrow about my proper job. So we shall await further news as to what's going on. It's been a funny old year, hasn't it? We're not going to forget 2020, that's for sure. Although I also discovered last night that you can schedule text messages. My hairdresser put a post on Facebook and I was about to message and then I realised how late it was and thought, oh, possibly won't be in her good books if I message her at this time of night. So I was able to schedule it to go out in the morning. How amazing is that? I'm going to stop right there. Right, let's get these ink pads shut and get cutting up and see what happens. A new shopping list. Can you imagine how much I'd have to do to wallpaper the lounge in One Sheet Wonders? That would be a lot of One Sheet Wonders. I do quite like doing a One Sheet Wonder in a single colour. Oh, is that a way of monitoring usage? I definitely need to do that. So I'm just having a quick clean of the stamps because otherwise I'm going to stick something in the messy stamps as well. there we go. So we've got nothing that we can stick paper in. We have clean fingers, winning. So I'm just right. So my first step when in my little technique of doing my one sheet wonders is essentially just to cut it into 4 in the first instance. And actually, the interesting thing as well is I'm in a swap group, and this month I challenged people to do a one sheet wonder, and I've had a couple of people's back, and they're like, they are so different. We all do them so differently, and one of them's done something that I'd have never have thought to do in a million years. With a, it's not a stamp set I actually own, but she's created stunning scenes. So once I've got them all in and everybody's got theirs back, I'll have to share that. So there we go, there's my first 2 bits. Then with one bit I cut at 7.5 to cut it in half. Then this piece I cut at 3.5 and 3.5 because that's going to be a little, I quite like this one on a little note card. So that's my set of 3. What I need to do is make sure I keep those somewhere safe so that I make sure they're in the same order. Not that it'd be that difficult to match it up, but we don't want to make our lives any more complicated, do we really? I'm going to use this one to cut off 3.5 centimetres. And then we've got a couple there. I'm going to leave the last bit as a complete hole at the moment to decide. But, oh, that's going to look so beautiful. So, I have an assortment of paper cards. So I've got Highland Heather paper, even though I didn't have Highland Heather ink. So I think that might look quite nice on Highland Heather and then Gorgeous Grape. Ooh. So we can get all sorts of combinations going here now. That'd be quite pretty, wouldn't it? Although we might have to do it the other way round because yeah, but don't you find that, Kim? You do tend to get a bit obsessed with one thing. I mean, Forever Fern is beautiful though, isn't it? I mean, that's just got so many possibilities. So I've got to do this one the other way round because I realised the other thing I've run out of is Gorgeous Grape blooming paper. So I'm actually going to cut that paper just slightly bigger. That's a beautiful, beautiful combination, isn't it? So let's just remind ourselves how big this bit is. It is 7.5 by 10.5. So I'm going to cut this 8.5 by 11.5. So I think this is what's great about these. You just play, just keeping that really simple. Now what I do tend to do with my one sheet wonders is leave them without greetings because I think they are a perfect card to have in stock, as it were, and just suddenly go, oh, I've got a birthday, I've got a thank you, I've got a celebration, whatever it is, and then you can very easily just grab one and put a greeting to it. Yeah, that's what I tend to do, but rather love that combination. Should we stick it together? That might help, mightn't it? Now, based on my taping disasters, I'm going to use wet glue so that I can live in hope that we get these straight. I know wonky's homemade, but you know, we ought to be not deliberately being wonky, eh? And the other thing is as well, oops, is with this card base, just concentrate for a moment, I think that can go either way up. So I could create a card that's that way or that way. It's the wonderful thing with One Sheet Wonders. So there we go, numero uno. Now the question is, let's take one of these triangles, because I think that is going to lend itself beautifully to having, I need a longer bit clearly. I had to order some more rainbow glimmer paper as well. I first saw it in the catalogue and was like, good God, what am I going to do with that? It's so bright. And now I can't stop using it. So if you cut it across the colours, you can just see, you could kind of choose which graduation. I rather like this. This is the kind of going from the purples into the blues. So that I think is rather gorgeous. So I'm going to just cut probably sort of around about 3/4 of a centimetre. Oh, just look at that. Now that I think should really just be on. I don't think we need to add another colour into the mix by putting it on a coloured card base. I think that lends itself to. Of course, she's not got one handy. Yes, she has. Now, do we put it on? Have I got a Very Vanilla? I do. How about that? Oh, if I do say so myself. Now, this definitely needs wet glue. You want to get this triangle fits perfectly on the card, so you really do need to be accurate about the two edges. So we do definitely need our wriggle room with this one, just to make sure we're right up to that edge and that edge. So perfect bit of wriggle room. And then, oh, that is just going to stick it more to that end for, as I say, with the rainbow glimmer paper you can cut it either direction, so you can get the kind of rainbow effect or you can get a singular colour effect. So it's got so many uses. So I'm just going to save wasting too much at that end and keeping a longer bit at that end. Oh, how fab is that? Again, turning over the card and using our little snips to cut that to the back. That gives you the neatest finish. So there we go. Number 2. And that just adds a little bit of bling. So that, oh, actually, that one almost cries out for a few little embellishments, I think, but we'll put that to one side. Now this one, how about that's not the right size for a card base, is it? Putting this on a purple posy, but adding, how about, oh, that's a nice contrast. I'm going to put a little strip of Blackberry Bliss. Loving that, loving that, loving that. So what have I just done with my trimmer? I mean, it's not like it's small. Oh, it's up there. It's like it's... How one loses a trimmer, honestly. So 2 measurements I use for card bases are 10.5 and 14.9, depending on which way round you want your card base. So in this instance, I'm cutting at 14.9 and scoring at 10.5. So it really just does depend which way round you want your card base to be. And then this, you see, fits perfectly. And I think, oh, should we have a bit of Blackberry Bliss either side? Yeah, let's go crazy. So that measured 3.5, so I'm going to cut a strip that is 5 centimetres, I think. It's a random measurement, but hey ho. And then we need it 14.9, and because I need to pop that in the middle of that, I am again going to use wet glue because I get that extra bit of wriggle room. We all need a bit of wriggle room. So that's going to go in the centre of that, which gives me a nice little bit either side. Then, oh, which way up do I put it? No, I think I'm going to put it that way up, because then we could have a greeting that maybe came across there when we put a greeting on, or something. Or that car, oh, that would be great with a greeting across there, I think. Loving the colours, loving the colours. Bit of glue all over the place. Actually, I'm quite impressed with myself. I haven't got, I've barely got inky fingers, and I've managed not to get any glue anywhere other than on my bits of card currently, so that's marginally exciting. So that Blackberry Bliss is slightly too long, so I'm just going to trim that off at the top, but I think that would be lovely in landscape with just a greeting stamped in Blackberry Bliss across there. But as I say, I do think they are fantastic for just, you can very quickly create a number of cards, there we go, and then just kind of keep them handy. That colour combination is beautiful, if I do say so myself. Do you know how many butterflies are upside down if I do it that way? But hey, butterflies can do. Actually, do you know what blah, blah. I can't speak. I've got the butterfly and the butterfly punches. So whilst my butterflies are upside down there, I could add a couple of butterflies to that. Which I'm not going to do right now, because it means tipping everything out of my cupboards. And oh, let's go with a little note card. I can find it under my pile of stuff. Pile of stuff, a little note card. So I do love the size of these note cards, because these three almost fit perfectly on there. But what I'm thinking is Rich Raspberry hasn't made an appearance as yet. So how about a background of Rich Raspberry under there? I've tried it before with designer series paper and it doesn't work because it's too many clashes, but that would be rather nice, wouldn't it? Oh yeah. The other thing I'm going to do is use my corner punch Another thing I do like is just to have, for me it's bottom on one side, top on the other. No idea why, just because I can. So a note card is 13 by 9, so I'm going to cut a centimetre. I'm going to do this 12 by 8. Oh. I'm putting my trimmer back in the same place every time now, so I don't blooming lose the thing again. Honestly, the biggest thing in my craft room, and I lose it for some reason. That's not quite square. Just square that off because that's going to irritate me. So that's going to go on there, and then these pieces are going to go on there. So I want to try and have an even amount of colour around each one. So I'm going to stick that centre one first. God, it's Wednesday already. Stick that one in the centre there. And then these ones, so that you definitely need the wriggle room of wet glue. On here, because it's important that they do all line up really. It's just to keep the pattern, so we're just creating a little bit of a gap between each piece. We've kept them in the same order that they were cut in, just with those corners cut off. Move that out very slightly. Nice. So again, I'm just going to wet glue there. Oh, I do hope you can't hear that. So that's going to be centred on that little card. That could have a little greeting on somewhere. That's definitely calling for just a small greeting, I think. But there we go. So how many have we got now? We've got 4. What should we do with this one and this one? What? Oh, we could have. How about having a Blackberry Bliss card? This is just such a gorgeous colour. Let's trim this down. So I've cut at 10.5 in this instance, and I'm going to score at 14.9. I say just 2 easy measurements, and then it just depends whether you score or cut. I mean, let's keep it simple, eh? So that could go quite centrally. I'll put it that way up because that might look quite nice like that. Let's keep the, show the butterflies flying in the right direction on this one. Then, what do you think? that's not working for me. We could go with the Posy, couldn't we? Because that was a rather nice combination when we did it the other way around. I'm liking the combination of Purple Posy and Blackberry Bliss. And my Purple Posy's barely been used. Terrible. I don't think that, I think that goes to blue, doesn't it? Oh, decisions. What does it look like against it? No. That's not doing it for me. The Purple Posy is doing it for me. So, how wide is that one? Can't think. That is 7, so I'm going to cut this at 8. And then the 14.9. I mean, you could cut 2 thin strips of the card base if you wanted to be more frugal with your card, because clearly I'm covering up that whole centerpiece. We could just have 2 little pieces, entirely up to you which way round you do it, depending on your preferences. I know some people don't like to cover all the card up, and probably if I was lower in stock I might decide to just cut the 2 strips, but as I've got a fair amount of this in stock, I'm not got a whole pack basically, which shows you that I haven't used Purple Posy nearly enough. So centering that onto there. I think Purple Posy and Blackberry Bliss might be my new favourite combo. Again, just centre that on the card, just keep making sure it's lined up top and bottom, just popping that flat. I would need to trim a teeny weeny bit off, but we can do that very quickly. As I say, reverse your card and then you can trim along. Literally just got to shave the teeny weeniest bit off, which is slightly challenging my eyesight, to be fair. God, an old age wonderful. Your eyes start failing you. Got my glasses on as well. I think I need to get my eyes tested and have some special crafting glasses. So, oh, there we go. If I open it the right way round, it will work. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 5 so far. What have I got there? A bit of random tissue. So the 6th one I'll just do with this, and we could do several coloured strips, couldn't we? How about trying? Now, when I'm going to do this, I'm going to cut it into. That is not quite long enough. That's definitely not long enough. Let's find a long enough bit of card. There we go. How about when we put that on the card, we could have a little. No, you know what would look? How about, right, okay. So 2 edges, Blackberry Bliss and Rich Razzleberry, or Grape and Purple Posy. I'll give you a minute for the Facebook video to catch up, and so it's, we'll call this number 1 and this number 2, shall we? Is that easier, rather than writing blackberry, bliss, rich raspberry and all those words? So give me a 1 or a 2. Comment and see which you prefer. I'm going to do it on a white card base, which I have here. So either will look. Right, we have a number 2 from Kim. 1 from Jeanette. Now come on. You ladies really don't help me. Oh, Ali's gone number 2. 2 in for 2. Any more for any more, or I should just go with Purple Posy and Gorgeous Grape? Now you've done, now you've done it, Jane. Got 2 and 2. Right, I have got. Yeah, thank you. I have got a 5th person watching, so it just depends whether the 5th person watching is going to reveal themselves and vote number 1 or number 2. They might just stay quiet. Jeanette, you can't vote twice. It was Jeanette's challenge, so I'm going with, or sorry, Jeanette's choice of purple, so I'm going to go with Jeanette, as we have an even vote there. So we'll go with number 1. So this is a case of taking your card base and again just keeping those 2 edges just really accurate, so that's nice and even. And then I'm going to cut a ½ centimetre strip from both these cardstocks. Makes it a little bit different to do 2 colours. I mean, sometimes your consideration on whether you use a whole sheet or a strip could be the post, because if you want to add embellishments and things like that onto cards, you've got to be a little bit careful about how thick it gets. So I think we'll do it, I think, that way round. Or do I? I'm going dark to light. So quick. Little bit of glue run down that edge. Just butt it right up against that edge. And again with the second piece, I thought it was quite interesting to try popping 2 different coloured pieces on there. You know, your be your heart's desire. Well, yeah, absolutely. It's the environment as well, isn't it? If we think about it, I'm just wondering whether to go completely. Don't think that's quite. I don't think the shades are quite right to get a bit in there. So again, all we need to do, turn the card over, snip our ends off, That gives you a nice neat finish on those two sides. So then I have look, I can keep everybody happy. How about let's see, let's do it. Let's cut this one in half diagonally. Oh, sorry. Whack the all I need now, of course, I might do this with a very vanilla base. You got something against purple? Or is that just because it's not your blue? You can vote again next week for next week's one. I think we all end up kind of picking our favourites, don't we? And let's just get those two edges lined up. Then I'm going to cut 1/2 centimetre strip of Purple Posy and Gorgeous Grape, just because I fancy seeing how it looks as well. And after this, oh God, I wish I had a freezer big enough to get into, blimey. Definitely prefer the darker closer to the card and the lighter that way. Right, Kim, you can vote for blues every single week, and then at some point somebody will agree with you. Or everybody will go, yay, let's have blue this week. We want to see blues. We do have a fantastic range of blues. So that's another Night of Navy. Went crazy for Night of Navy at one point and hasn't really been used. So again, a little bit of wriggle room, make sure those are butted up. And then I've got quite a number of cards all ready for sentiments. So there we go, we've got 1, 2, I think we decided that one was going to go that way round, 3, that's definitely got to go that way around. 4, 5, 6, 7 cards, and I've still got a little bit left over. But yeah, that's so very easily you can create cards which can then. I've never seen an ice cream van come down the road. OMG, didn't make any noise. Sorry, easily distracted. Ice cream van, right? Ooh, it's just the day for an ice cream. So yeah, essentially that gives me 7 cards that I can have available to just add sentiments to very quickly. When I do these ones, in these half ones, I do like to have the sentiment. Although, again, no reason why the cards can't be t'other way up. You just make your decision at the time. So there we go. Rainbow glimmer paper goes gorgeously with many things. Remember, you can cut it up in many different ways. And yeah, rather pleased with the purples. Probably wouldn't have chosen that myself, so thank you very much for interacting, and hopefully you've enjoyed that. Thanks, Ali. And it's Wednesday today, so it will be 6 o'clock tomorrow for another live, and I am going to play with Daisy Lane tomorrow. So it's a stamp and punch set that I haven't used for a little while, so I thought I'd bring out the daisies. So Daisy Lane tomorrow, so hopefully I'll see you tomorrow at 6, and look forward to seeing you soon, and stay cool in whatever way you can. Alright, take care of yourselves. See you soon. Bye.